But that was not a serious mistake, putting American lives into jeopardy. And I think that your side is doing this to score political points, the first political points they've been able to accomplish in 2 months.
Well, what we're talking about here, and I've spent a decade now watching how our intelligence community communicates with the warfighter. So I am not going to listen to you tell me that this is about a partisan advantage. It is a mistake, and yes, it's a very serious mistake. Because if you make a mistake in Social Security and grandma doesn't get a phone call through, that's bad. But there is not zero risk that our young men and women in uniform, the ones who flew those F-35s and F-18s,
Congressman, how was an American life put into jeopardy?
We will find out.
Congressman, how?
Because
fine, you've made a claim. Tell me how an American life was put into jeopardy.
Because in an insecure channel, in what was acknowledged as a mistake before, whether it was a day or 2 hours or 5 hours, in a signal chat that we note. Do you want an answer to your question?
The struggle at Fox News to defend Donald Trump's disastrous presidency has been tough, especially in recent days with a new, dangerous, and foolish scandal involving a compromised Signal group chat. In that chat, Pete Hegseth, despite his denials, was sharing war plans. Fox has had a hard time defending this, but what's made it even worse is that they've been bringing on Democrats who are absolutely destroying them. One such moment was when Congressman Jason Crow appeared on Fox and completely shut down Will Cain, the same person who previously said he was proud of the messages in the group chat, revealing himself as a propagandist and Trump loyalist. Jason Crow tore him apart. We'll dive into that moment, but before we do, if you could please like this video and, if you haven't already, subscribe to our channel, as it really helps and means a lot. Now, let's check out Jason Crow's appearance and stick around afterward to hear from Tim Miller.
And Congressman, what I'm trying to figure out today is whether or not you guys as Democratic congressmen are genuinely interested in the national security of the United States, or whether or not you're trying to score hyperbolic partisan points. So I'm sure we're going to find out you're principled on this, on these calls across the action. So when we had our disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan, wherein 13 Marines were killed, did you call for the resignation of Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin?
Will, listen here. This, but what if or whatever situation.
No,
this is always
no.
what you do.
I'm trying to figure out
right?
if you're principled and you've applied this on every occasion.
These are apples and oranges situations. These are apples and oranges situations, right? Lloyd Austin never once in his entire career sent classified, top secret information about military plans and a mission over.
So you didn't.
Extremely dangerous territory in the way that Pete Hegseth did. Right?
Just to continue the curiosity, did you call for the resignation, Congressman, did you call for the resignation of anybody from the military for that withdrawal from Afghanistan wherein 13 Marines were killed? If not Austin, anyone? Did you call for anyone's firing?
Will, listen to me. These are apples and oranges situations, right? You're not a veteran, right?
No, I'm not.
No, let me explain something. Retrograde operations, withdrawal operations are some of the hardest operations anybody can conduct, right? Now, I've been very vocal. I was very vocal against the Biden administration. I didn't pull my punches there, right? And actually what I did is I led a bipartisan effort to create an Afghanistan War Commission to actually investigate it. And then I was actually appointed the ranking member, the Democrat, of the Oversight and Accountability Subcommittee to conduct an investigation. And we did that. And there was a complete and comprehensive report of the lessons learned. Right. And I'm actually sponsoring legislation to fix those issues.
I have some of your words right here,
taking action to fix it.
Congressman, in fact, I do have some of your words right here. So this is what you told CPR News, which is a Colorado news agency. Back in 2023, you said, I do think the withdrawal from Afghanistan was messy. It was chaotic. There were a lot of mistakes that were made, and I haven't pulled punches on that. And then you go on to say in that same interview, but there are lessons learned, and I take a holistic look and not look at it through a small frame. So you admit that it was a mistake. You know that it was connected. I agree, by the way, it is apples and oranges, because in this situation, 13 Marines actually died. So I agree, they're not apples to apples comparisons. But on this particular mistake, you didn't demand anyone's resignation. And so I don't find it principled that now you do when nothing happened other than a successful military operation was executed. It seems to me, Congressman, that what you're doing is playing politics, not principles. Operation.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not, right? Focus on the issue at hand right now, right? My number one sacred responsibility is to make sure today and tomorrow and going forward, our men and women in uniform are protected. And I don't have that confidence right now because no one's accepted responsibility.
But you
right?
did
Very
under
clearly.
Lloyd
This is what we
Austin.
know. This is what we know.
But you did
this is
under
what we
Lloyd
know
Austin.
happened. This is what we absolutely know, uncontroverted, happened. The Secretary of Defense posted over an unsecure, unclassified channel in real time the launch of missions over contested enemy territory, over the Houthis, by the way, which are not a bunch of folks riding around in the back of pickup trucks carrying AK-47s, but this is a small army that has some of the most sophisticated air defense weapon systems in the world, that has actually shot down MQ-9 Reaper drones recently and shot down other U.S. systems, right? And they compromise the integrity of that mission. That is what we're talking about. That is what the hearing was about today, and that is the accountability that right now,
I know what it was
here
about.
today,
I heard.
we are pushing for. Because, listen,
was the location of
I
those,
have to go to sleep at
Congressman,
night.
no, I have two
And
more
you have to
questions.
go
No,
to
I have
sleep.
two more questions. Was the location of those strikes in that messaging?
I don't believe the locations were, but that doesn't matter.
Was
right?
the targets?
Because let me explain how this works.
Congressman, another question.
Let me explain how this works.
Were the targets
These are
listed in that?
regional. Will, these are regional
listed?
air defense systems. These are regional air defense systems. Let me explain how an SA-3 and an SA-6 works. These are the two systems that the Houthis have that they got from the Russians. If they know that aircraft are flying over a region or an area, not even a specific target, they can launch an SA-3 and an SA-6, much like they did when they shot down the MQ-9 Reaper drone last year. So they don't need to know the exact location. So here you have people on this signal text chain, one of whom, by the way, was sitting in Moscow when this happened. It was sitting in Moscow, the most dangerous environment in the world for a cell phone. Right. And they were saying,
Congressman,
that we are launching
I know the details.
So if the Houthis knew about that, they could have shot him down.
Congressman, I and everybody watching know the details. The difference between your position and mine is that nobody on my side of the aisle is pretending protection. I'm not. I'm certainly not. Pretending perfection.
No, the
administration
no, the difference,
hold on. The difference is the administration has admitted a mistake. You are demanding the type of accountability in resignations that you never did when, yes, and apples and oranges things happen that result in the death of 13 Marines. And I have to tell you, that reveals to me you don't have real national security concerns. You see this as a partisan political opportunity. That's what that lack of consistency says to me.
Just absolutely nonsensical, the points that the Fox propaganda outlet is trying to deliver to defend Pete Hegseth. And it's the reason why previously I made a video talking about the many Fox hosts who were just blatantly saying it. Yeah, this was wrong. This was a massive screw up, and their denial and their attempt to wordsmith the situation and get themselves out of it is just ridiculous. He was sharing war plans. If this was a black woman or someone that Pete Hegseth would jump at the opportunity to call a DE hire. Yeah, this person would be facing criminal prosecution. It would be a complete outrage, and we would never see the end of the investigation that took place. And good, this needs to be investigated. We need prosecution. We need accountability of Pete Hegseth, of Tulsi Gabbard, of Mike Waltz, of J.D. Vance, of course, of Donald Trump, who apparently knows nothing of the sort. Ridiculous. And we're seeing a lot of crazy, absurd defensive MAGA lately. It's just what we expect. But a lot of great people calling it out. I promised you some Tim Miller. Tim went on Piers Morgan's show yesterday, and I'm not even going to explain it. You're just going to have to take a look.
I think that Dave's kind of business model over there, you know, I don't take money from any Russian assets. Like, that's just me. So I'm able to just kind of say what I really think on here with Dave. You never know. So I understand why he might not, you know, he might want to pick his spots.
All right. Well, let me bring
That's some great work you're doing at Bulwark, a real solid place of journalism over there.
Well, we haven't taken any money from the Russians at the Bulwark, Piers. I don't know if you know this, but Dave took $400,000 per month from a Russian information operation. And so you'd understand why.
And what was the name of the show that I did for the Russians? Tell me that.
Right now is just handing things over to the Russians, that he has to pretend to be outraged about things. You know, just you don't know who's paying the bill.
What was the name of the show I did for the Russians, champ?
It was Tenet Media that paid you. Tenet Media
What was the name of the show?
Right?
What was the name of the show?
$400,000 per month and a $100,000 signing bonus. That not you?
Yeah, you just literally don't know what you're talking about, which is standard. You work for MSNBC and the Bulwark. It's impressive.
All right,
okay, so that wasn't you then. You weren't commentator one in that indictment there, Dave? That wasn't you?
Yeah, I was commentator one. It was nice to read something honest about me, that I did all my due diligence trying to figure out what was going on over there. What was the name of the show? Tell me about the propaganda I put out there.
What was the name of the show? That was paying you. Tenet Media was a Russian. What was the name of the show? It was an RT cutout.
Yeah.
It was a Russian cutout.
What you're talking about.
An RT cutout. They were paying you. I've never been paid by a Russian cutout, so I don't exactly know how it all works.
You're paid by MSNBC, which is state-owned propaganda. You're paid by the Bulwark, which is which should be just called bullshit. That would be a better name of the network. Whatever the hell it is you people are doing.
Could I jump in on
What was the name of the show that I did? What was the name? You don't know. You don't know because you don't know what you're saying.
It's so funny how Dave Ruben gets all angry and defensive, acting all high and mighty when he's called out for basically being a Russian asset. Why do you react like that? I can't even deal with the cognitive dissonance these people have, and honestly, I'm not going to try. But we're going to call them out anyway. If you want to support the independent media on this channel, as always, hit that subscribe button, leave a like on this video, and if you stuck around until the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.